Good morning, Karen. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And clearly it's an industry that takes quite some time to pivot. So this is a huge concern for the pharma industry, which here in Denmark comprises a large proportion of the economy and across Europe more broadly, and many of whose products are actually shipped out of this logistics center just outside of Copenhagen. And as you were saying, President Trump suggesting that these tariffs against the pharma industry are likely to come. He has warned that last week that they will be coming, that may not be announced today, but pharma companies certainly looking for ways they can work around, or at least a delay, so that they may be able to pivot and allow a little bit of time to move their production to the US, as Donald Trump would like. And this is all part of his bigger play to make America great again, or as they're now dubbing it, make America wealthy again, and increase manufacturing and production in the United States and have some of these European firms move their hubs over there. Now, we had the chance to speak to one Danish biotech, Novonesis, who derives around a third of its sales from the US, but has a significant presence already in the US. And I got to speak to the CEO, Esther Baget, about the competitiveness of Europe and whether or not these tariffs are going to do any good to improve that side for Europe, or whether it's just going to mean more manufacturing is moving to the US, like as her firm has done. Let's take a listen.
Europe is in a crossroad, a pivotal moment to recover back a leadership on the global market and competitiveness. This space, it's not there, not due to the lack of innovation, not to the lack of amazing talent, or the capabilities to bring those solutions. If you take, for example, the case of solar, it was developed here, and it ended up somewhere else, the scale-up. Biotechnology, it's going, I hope, and we're working that biotechnology, it will be led by Europe and then capitalize the opportunities in Europe. For that, we're working closely with the European authorities on how we continue to streamline regulation. We're still facing a regulation which is creating unnecessary roadblocks. Today, it takes 6 years to register a microbe to replace a fertilizer. You can do it in 2 in Brazil. It takes 3-5 years to register a novel protein for novel foods. You can do it in 6-9 months in Singapore. This unnecessary roadblocks is hindering the speed of penetration. It's hindering the speed of growing demand, and that makes that the investments of growth of new capacity, they are more attractive somewhere else. That's a space that I think Europe, and we see that with authorities, that it's understood, and we're sitting close at the table on how we are deregulating and how we are streamlining and simplifying, that we unleash the potential that this country has.
Now, Esther, they're urging this as a bit of a moment of reckoning for Europe to do more to deregulate and encourage businesses here. But clearly the ramifications will be large if we see lots of European firms having to bow to the pressure from Donald Trump and move their manufacturing over to the United States. There's an estimate from a trade industry, Dansk Industry here in Denmark, that it could cost the Danish economy around $6.8 billion if an all-out trade war is to occur, and it could cost around 16,000 jobs for the local economy. Now, we also had the chance to speak to the Business and Industry Minister, Morten Bodskov, who weighed in on the likelihood of Danish firms moving investment into the US and whether or not that's something that he's advising for firms to do, and whether they can expect to see more of that, and also the role that Danish companies do and continue to play in the US, and how a trade war could potentially stymie that. Let's take a listen.
They should do their business where they want to do their business. It's not up to me. I can help. The government can help. And we are doing that. And I'm sure you will see much more, investments from Danish companies in the future in the US. But it's clear the uncertainty creates uncertainty right now in the view on how should we invest. But I think that you will still see investment from Danish companies in the US. The US economy is the world's biggest economy. It has a huge attraction, of course, and there is a need for example, more investment in shipping, more investments in renewables, energy transition. And if you look at these areas, you see world-leading Danish companies. Of course, they'll be in the US. And that's good, because it will still create jobs. The uncertainty and the tariffs certainly doesn't help for the aim
So the minister there speaking to some of the key industries that do play a critical role in trade with the US and in the US economy more broadly. But we still will have to wait to see what the implications of these tariffs will be, whether or not they are imposed by Trump, and what the implications will be there. And we'll be speaking later today to the CEO of DSV, Danish logistics firm, about some of the ramifications of this potential trade war and the impact it might have on his business, but trade flows more broadly. Back to you, Karen.